The snow has no right to be here. It is the moon of long light, the time of green shoots and newborn bison. But the sky is the color of a dead man's tooth. A fly, grey ash, born of a distant mountain's fury, chokes the sun, and the world below freezes in its shadow. Inside the overhang of ochre-stained rock, the clan shrinks around a fire that sputters like a dying heart. There are 34 of them, a number that feels both impossibly large and terrifyingly small. The old one watches the flames, her face a geography of past sorrows. Her eyes, clouded with age, see more than the pathetic blaze. They see the last of the dried mammoth meat, a stringy handful that will not last the night. They see the hollows deepening in the cheeks of the young. This endless winter is a wound that will not close. A relentless thief in this chapter of deep prehistory. The hunters return, their shoulders slumped in a posture older than language. The scarred one, his body a testament to a lifetime of violent encounters with Pleistocene megafauna, lays his outlet down with a quiet reverence, a king abdicating his throne. The spear thrower, a marvel of bone and sinew, is useless. There is nothing to throw it at. The great herds of reindeer have vanished. The woolly rhinos have pushed south beyond reach. The very rhythm of life, the sacred pulse of migration and hunt that has defined their hominid history, has ceased. He meets the old one's gaze and gives a single, slow shake of his head. It is a gesture of utter finality. The valley, their home for generations uncounted, has become a tomb. The air is thick with the unspoken. Every adult understands the choice that now presses in on them. As cold and heavy as the ice forming on the river, a child begins to cry. A thin, hungry wail that cuts through the wind's mournful song. Its mother, a girl barely old enough to have a child of her own, rocks it uselessly, her own expression a mask of terror. The scarred one walks over, unhooks a small pouch from his belt, and pulls out a flattened piece of dried fungus, blackened and hard. He breaks it into and hands a piece to the mother. A flicker of humanity in the encroaching dark. An act of pure altruism when every calorie is a coin for another day of life. This is the essence of their bond, the bedrock of their survival skills. It is this unspoken trust the old one now holds in her hands. She can keep them here, in the home of their ancestors, where they will watch each other weaken and fade, one by one. Or she can lead them out, away from all they know, into a white, featureless world with no promise of a destination. It is a choice between a certain death and a possible one. She rises, her joints crackling like dried twigs. Every eye follows. She walks not to the food stores, but to the cave wall, where the charcoal outlines of 100 successful hunts give silent testimony to a world that no longer exists. She places a hand on the cool rock, a final communion with the ghosts of her people. Then, she turns, and, with a deliberate motion, picks up the worn mammoth tusk staff leaning by the entrance. The decision is made. There is no debate. There is only the quiet, grim acceptance of early humans facing the void. They move as a single, ragged organism across the endless white. The ancestral valley is a memory behind them, swallowed by the unnatural winter. This new world, a vast and frozen crisp here, offers no shelter, only exposure. The ash-laced wind scours their skin, stealing warmth with a thief's touch. Each step is a calculation of energy spent versus distance gained. The weakest now walk in the center of the formation, a living shield of the strong surrounding the vulnerable, a core principle of survival for these ancient humans. At night, they do not find cave, but scrape shallow depressions in the snow, huddling together under stitched hides, their breath plumbing into the frigid air like departing spirits. The scarred one and two other hunters range ahead, their eyes constantly scanning the horizon, not for prey, but for the predators that now see them as such. They find the tracks one morning, the deep, rounded prints of a cave lion, impossibly large, pressed into the grey snow. It is not hunting them, not yet. It is shadowing, waiting. An expert in the cruel mathematics of starvation, the first to fall is one of the old hunters. a man whose stories are carved into the shafts of his spears. A cough that began in the valley has taken root in his chest, and now a fever burns the last of his strength away. He stumbles, and the column holds. No words are exchanged. The Old One looks at him, and he looks at the horizon. The unspoken is a chasm between them. To carry him would be to condemn them all. To stop would be to invite the lion and the cold to their fire. This is the brutal calculus of prehistoric life. A logic that overrides love. His son, a young man with his father's eyes, kneels and grips his hand. A final, desperate touch. The Old One places a hand on the son's shoulder. She does not pull him away, but waits. It is his choice to make the peace, but her choice to save the clan, after a moment that stretches into a frozen eternity. The sun rises, his face a stone mask. The clan turns and walks on. They do not leave him to the emptiness alone. The scarred one approaches the fallen hunter, who now sits watching them go. He's breathing a shallow rust from a leather pouch. He removes a small, smooth river stone. On its surface, etched with a flint burin, is the unmistakable outline of a horse, its legs bent as if in full gallop. A piece of mobiliary art, a portable world of meaning, a piece of his own soul. He presses it into the dying man's hand. It is not food. It is not raw. It is a statement. You were one of us. You ran with the herd. You will not be forgotten. This act, a flicker of profound humanity in the face of oblivion, is the very anchor of their existence. It is the invisible sinew that binds their society, a foundational piece of the puzzle studied by future anthropology. As they move away, no one looks back. They cannot afford to. The red path is not just the blood they might spill, but the parts of themselves they must leave behind on the ice, sacrifices laid at the feet of the god of tomorrow. Their journey is a testament to the resilience of our human ancestors, a relentless push forward into an unforgiving world. The air changes first. The sterile bite of the ice gives way to a damp, salty tang that coats the tongue. Then, the sound, a low and constant roar that is not the wind. It is the sound of the world breathing when they finally crest the last frozen dew. They see it, they gray, churning expanse of water that meets the grey sky, horizonless and terrifying. They have never seen so much water. They have walked out of their world and into a place of myth, for a lineage stretching back perhaps 1,000,000 years ago. Their ancestors were creatures of the deep continent. This is an alien planet. The clan stops, a line of ragged figures staring at the abyss. The sea, indifferent, throws a curtain of spray over the first black rocks, a gesture of cold welcome. They are alive, they have arrived, but they have no idea how to live here. Their first days are a litany of failures. The subsistence strategy that defined their existence is now meaningless. The scarred one stands at the water's edge, upwards in hand, watching sleek, dark-shaped seals move with an impossible grace through the waves. His spear thrower, the pinnacle of their hunting primitive technology, might as well be a child's toy. The seal laughs at it. A younger hunter, desperate with hunger, wades into the surf to try and spear a large fish trapped in a pool. A wave, a liquid fist, smashes into him and throws him back onto the shingle, gasping and bruised. This new world is not just empty. It is actively hostile to their knowledge. The primal fear shifts from the stalking predator to the crushing, unknowable power of the tide. But desperation is the mother of human evolution. The Old One's granddaughter, a quiet girl with observant eyes, notices the gulls. She watches them carry shellfish high into the air and drop them onto the rocks below, shattering the shells to get at the meat inside. She does not have wings, but she has a mind, and she has a hammer stone. This is the moment of Genesis. She picks up a mussel, places it on a flat boulder, and brings her stone down. The crack is the loudest, most beautiful sound any of them have ever heard. It is the sound of a key turning in a lock. Within an hour, the clan is scattered across the tidal flats. Their sophisticated lithic technology for butchering mammoths now repurposed for the simple, brutal act of smashing shells. They gorge themselves on the raw, salty flesh, the taste of survival. Their future, a question mark moments before, now has the beginnings of an answer. In time, their discarded shells and adapted tools will form a midden, a treasure trove of evidence for a future science they cannot imagine, the field of archaeology. They find a new home, a shallow cave overlooking the cove, its mouth scoured by the salt wind. They are 20 to know, scarred, diminished, but unbroken. They are the foundation of a new people. Their story a single, vital thread in the immense tapestry of ancient history and the saga of Homo sapiens. The old once sits at the mouth of the new cave, the mammoth tusk staff laid across her knees. It is the last remnant of the world they lost, a fossil from another life. For days she has watched the tide, her mind finally grasping its rhythm, a clockwork of planetary scale that now dictates their existence. She looks at the children, their faces no longer gaunt, as they learn to read the shoreline for its hidden bounty. She sees the scarred one patiently chipping a row of barbs into a bone point, designing the first fish spear. They are not just surviving. They are becoming something new. They are the children of the ash and the ice. Reborn by the salt and the tide, her task is done. With a final, weary gesture, she takes the staff, the scepter of a dead queen and a forgotten kingdom, and lays it in the heart of the fire. The ancient ivory hisses, blackens, and is consumed. There is no ceremony, only the quiet turning of a page. Their epic gamble, a choice born of foresight and held together by the unbreakable bonds of community, has paid off. They endured a force they could not defeat and have emerged, forever changed, on the other side. The question that echoes from their fire is one that still whispers in our own blood. When the world we know is erased, what parts of our humanity do we carry into the new one we must build? Their silence is the bedrock of our voice. Was the fire we carry lit by their hands, or by the friction of their loss?